Ethan Cole worked on the orbiting trade station Artemis. He was a systems engineer, used to quiet work and small tasks, fixing circuits and checking equipment. The station was a busy hub for many species, but humans were still new to the Galactic trade network. Most aliens looked at humans as clever but weak, not a real threat. Ethan liked that. It made life simple. One morning, Ethan walked down the main corridor. The lights glowed softly, reflecting off the metal walls. Merchants and traders moved quickly, speaking in languages he did not understand. He smiled politely to a tall, blue-skinned alien and a short green one. They nodded back. Then he saw her. Lyra stood at the docking bay window, staring at the stars. She looked almost human. Her hair was dark, long, and straight, and her eyes were unusually bright, almost silver. She wore a simple jumpsuit, unlike the other aliens who had flowing robes or metal suits. Ethan felt a strange pull of curiosity. He had never seen her before, yet something in her calm presence drew him closer. He approached carefully. "Hello? I don't think we've met. I'm Ethan Cole," he said. His voice was friendly, soft. Lyra turned slowly. She studied him for a moment. "Lyra," she said, her voice almost a whisper. It was melodic, but carried a weight. She looked around as if afraid someone might hear. Ethan noticed her nervous gestures. She kept glancing at the walls, the floor, the ceiling. Something was not right. "Are you new here?" he asked. She nodded, but her eyes were worried. "Yes. I just arrived. I need privacy." Ethan sensed fear. He did not understand why yet. He simply said, "I can help. I work on the station systems. If you need anything, I can assist." Lyra's lips pressed together. She hesitated. Then she nodded slightly and turned away. Ethan did not push. Sometimes trust took time. Over the next few days, Ethan saw Lyra often. She moved quietly through the station, avoiding attention. She spent long hours in empty corridors, staring at star charts and old equipment. Ethan could not figure out why. She seemed to be hiding something. One day, Ethan was fixing a broken console in the docking bay. Lyra appeared suddenly behind him. She looked worried. "I need help," she said. Ethan stepped aside. "Sure. What's the problem?" She hesitated. "It's personal." He looked at her carefully. "I can help. I won't judge. I just want to make sure you're safe." Lyra's eyes widened. She took a deep breath. "I cannot tell anyone else. It could be dangerous." Ethan nodded. "Okay. You can trust me." He did not know why, but he felt he had to protect her. Slowly, she revealed the truth. Lyra was pregnant. She placed a hand on her small belly. Ethan was shocked. He had seen alien pregnancies in records, but this one was different. The child was half human, half alien. "This is illegal," she said quietly, almost crying. "If anyone finds out, the council they will take the child, maybe destroy it." Ethan felt a chill. The council was strict. They controlled population rules and species purity laws. Half-breeds were rare and considered dangerous. For some species, they were a threat to balance. "We have to hide it," Lyra whispered. "Please, you are the only human I can trust." Ethan thought about it. Hiding a child from the Galactic Council was risky. They could come with inspections, with security, with technology far beyond human understanding. If they found out, Lyra and the baby could be in danger. But he could not refuse. He saw the fear in her eyes, the hope that someone would help. "I'll help," he said finally. "We will find a way." From that moment, Ethan became a protector. He used his knowledge of the station's systems to create small safe rooms hidden from view. He checked the security feeds to make sure no one noticed Lyra's unusual movements. Lyra, for her part, became more cautious. She moved only at certain times, avoided crowded areas, and worked with Ethan to keep the pregnancy secret. She told him the child's name would be Nova. It meant new star, and she hoped it would survive like one. As the days passed, Ethan observed strange things. Lyra would sometimes touch machinery, consoles, or screens, and they would respond in subtle ways. Machines seemed calmer near her. Energy flows steadied. Lights flickered less. Ethan realized Nova was already affecting the station, even before birth. He said one evening, "The baby. It's different. Your child is not just human or alien, it's something new." Lyra smiled faintly, tears in her eyes. "I know, and that is why it is dangerous. If others knew, they would fear it. Fear brings death in our galaxy." Ethan thought about the human colonies, about humanity itself. Humans were not the strongest. They had no advanced weapons like many alien species. Yet they survived. They adapted. They protected their own. Now he understood. Humans were clever, brave in small ways, and willing to risk themselves for life. He had never felt so responsible. Hiding a child from the council was more than just breaking rules. It was a test of humanity's nature. Could humans protect life when it was inconvenient, dangerous, or frightening? Ethan wanted to believe yes. One day, as Lyra rested in a hidden storage room, Ethan repaired a damaged energy conduit. Sparks flew and the lights flickered. Lyra grabbed his hand instinctively. Ethan looked into her eyes. She was not just scared for herself. She was scared for Nova. "We must be careful," she said. "Even small mistakes could alert someone." Ethan nodded. "I will not let anything happen to her. Not while I am here." The station, bustling with traders and crews, seemed ordinary. Yet beneath its hum, a secret grew. A secret human and alien alike would protect at all costs. Then came the first warning. Ethan noticed unusual scans passing near the station. A small alien vessel hovered at the edge, monitoring. It was not unusual for alien patrols to check on newcomers. But something about this scan was precise, detailed. Someone was looking for something, or someone. He called Lyra to the observation deck. Together they watched the scanning vessel. It passed slowly, circling the station, focusing on certain modules. Ethan's stomach tightened. "They are looking for a life form, not a ship," he whispered. Lyra nodded. "They know. They are close. We must prepare." Ethan spent the night strengthening the hidden room, adjusting shields, and creating false signals. The technology was basic, but clever placement could fool even advanced scanners temporarily. He realized then that humans had always relied on wit more than raw power. This was another example. Lyra slept while Ethan worked. He imagined Nova growing inside her. He wondered what she would look like, how she would behave, what kind of person she would become. Half human, half alien. A child that could bridge worlds, if she survived. The next morning, Ethan escorted Lyra through empty corridors to avoid the main station areas. Every glance from a passing alien made them tense. Every sound of a door opening or footstep echoed too loudly in their minds. They moved carefully, silently. Lyra paused at a quiet junction. "We need allies," she said. "We cannot do this alone forever." Ethan considered it. Trusting others could expose them. But staying alone could also be dangerous. "Humans might help," he said. "They are clever in small ways. They notice things aliens overlook. We can try." Over the following days, Ethan discreetly contacted a few human technicians on the station. He explained nothing, only gave hints of a situation requiring caution and clever solutions. The humans, curious but loyal, agreed to help in small ways, blocking certain camera feeds, rerouting supplies, and keeping watch without asking questions. As the alliance quietly grew, Lyra felt a small sense of hope. "Maybe humans are more than they seem," she said softly. Ethan smiled, thinking of all the stories humans told themselves about survival. They were small, weak, and fragile in the eyes of the galaxy, yet they had courage, resourcefulness, and compassion. Qualities many powerful species did not understand. The days passed. Nova moved inside Lyra. Every kick, every movement reminded them both of the stakes. Ethan often talked to the unborn child. "You will be safe," he whispered. "We will protect you, no matter what." And somewhere beyond the station, unseen, someone was watching. The story of a hidden child, a half-human, half-alien miracle was beginning. A story that would test human courage, alien fear, and the choice between safety and exposure. Ethan did not know the full danger yet. He only knew he had made a choice. Protect the innocent, no matter the cost. The hidden room was quiet. Lyra sat on a soft cot holding her stomach, while Ethan checked the systems around them. He had spent days making sure the room was invisible to sensors, shielded from any casual scan. The station hummed above them, unaware of the secret life inside. Lyra's breathing was slow but tense. She could feel Nova moving more often now. The child was growing quickly, faster than any human pregnancy Ethan had read about. Alien pregnancies were usually long and controlled, but Nova's growth was unpredictable. "She is stronger than I expected," Lyra said softly. "Every day she moves, she tests me, tests the room. She is not weak." Ethan nodded. "That is good, but it also means she is noticeable. We must be careful." He checked the energy shields and security systems one more time. Everything seemed normal, but he knew any mistake could be fatal. One night, the first real danger arrived. A patrol vessel approached the station quietly, almost invisible to standard radar. Ethan noticed it because he had added small sensors outside the hidden module. The ship moved slowly, scanning every corridor, every docking bay. "They are here," he whispered to Lyra. "We have to hide." Lyra pressed her hand against her stomach. "Nova must not be found. Promise me you will not let them take her." Ethan felt a chill. "I promise. I will do everything I can." They moved Nova's growing presence to a deeper module, one that had old maintenance tunnels beneath the station. Ethan had mapped these tunnels before, knowing few aliens ever entered them. They were dark, tight, and dusty, but perfect for hiding. As they descended, Ethan noticed Nova reacting instinctively. Small panels flickered when Lyra passed. Lights dimmed and brightened without explanation. It was subtle, but he saw it. The baby was already affecting the environment. "She knows," Lyra whispered. "She can feel danger. She is learning." Ethan realized this was more than a pregnancy. Nova's half-human blood had somehow mixed with alien biology to create something entirely new. The baby's senses were stronger, sharper, more aware. They set up the module with basic supplies. Ethan had to be careful. Bringing too many items would draw attention, but too few would make life impossible. Lyra rested while Ethan checked the shields. He thought about what would happen if they were discovered. The Galactic Council did not tolerate hybrids. The punishment could be death. Days passed. Nova grew rapidly. She moved often, even kicking against the walls of her mother's womb. Lyra's face glowed with a mixture of fear and love. "I hope she is ready," she said quietly. "The galaxy may never accept her." Ethan shook his head. "She does not need their approval. We will make sure she survives. That is enough." Soon, Nova was born. The delivery was difficult. Lyra cried softly as Ethan monitored her vitals. The room was silent except for the hum of the station and the soft whimpers of the newborn. Nova opened her eyes almost immediately. They were bright silver, like her mother's, but with a strange spark. She was small, but her presence was strong. Ethan could feel it in the room. The energy around them seemed calmer when she was held. "She is perfect," Lyra said, tears streaming down her face. She held Nova close. "We must hide her, always." Ethan nodded. He wrapped Nova in a soft blanket. The baby was quiet but aware, looking at everything around her. It was clear she was not an ordinary child. As they adjusted to life with Nova, Ethan noticed more unusual signs. When she cried, machines nearby would calm, displays would stabilize, and even lights would stop flickering. It was subtle, but it happened often. He realized Nova was already influencing her surroundings. They could not stay hidden forever. Word of a strange child would eventually reach the council. Aliens were suspicious, and patrols were always nearby. Ethan worked on ways to keep Nova invisible. He modified energy readings, rerouted sensors, and even created small holographic decoys to confuse intruders. One morning, an alien inspection team arrived at the station. They were fast, precise, and almost emotionless. Ethan watched them move through the main corridors, asking routine questions, scanning every module. He knew they were looking for something unusual. "They are close," he whispered to Lyra. "We have to move carefully." Lyra nodded. Nova stirred in her mother's arms, sensing the danger. Ethan noticed how the child reacted instinctively, almost controlling minor systems around her. A scanner flickered and went offline. Ethan realized Nova was protecting herself already. The aliens paused. One of them studied a console, frowning. Ethan held his breath. If they discovered the hidden module, everything would be lost. They moved Nova through the old tunnels, using paths few aliens ever traveled. Ethan carried her gently, while Lyra followed. The baby was calm, but her presence was undeniable. She had a quiet strength that seemed to protect them. After hours, they reached a safer module. Ethan set up basic defenses, double-checking everything. Lyra sat down, exhausted. "She is amazing," she said, looking at Nova. "But we cannot hide forever. Someone will find us." Ethan nodded. "We will keep trying. Humans survive by adapting. We will adapt too." He began thinking about the future. Nova was special. If anyone discovered her, the council might want to study her or, worse, destroy her. They would not understand her abilities, her value. Ethan realized that humans had a role here. They could protect Nova in ways aliens could not. Humans could choose to save life, not just follow rules. As the days passed, Nova grew stronger. She laughed, cooed, and even reached out to touch Ethan and Lyra. Her presence was calming, but also powerful. Machines reacted to her in ways that made Ethan nervous. He had never seen anything like this. The child was a bridge between species, a new kind of life. But the danger was always present. Alien patrols scanned the station regularly, looking for anomalies. Ethan and Lyra had to move Nova carefully, using hidden tunnels and old maintenance areas. One slip, one careless action, and they could be exposed. Ethan realized something important. Humans were underestimated by aliens. They were not the strongest, not the fastest, and not the most advanced. But they were clever. They could hide, protect, and think in ways aliens did not expect. Humans could survive by using their minds, not their weapons. He explained this to Lyra one evening. "They think we are weak, but we are not. We protect what matters. Nova matters. We will survive, and we will keep her safe." Lyra smiled faintly, holding Nova close. "You are right. She is our responsibility. We will teach her to be careful, to understand the world, and to survive." Ethan felt a strange sense of pride. Humans were often seen as fragile, but here, in this small station, they had created a safe haven for a child that could change the galaxy. Then came the first real test. A patrol ship approached quietly, almost invisible to standard scans. Ethan noticed it because of his hidden sensors. The ship circled the station slowly, scanning for life forms. "They are here again," he whispered to Lyra. "We have to hide Nova." Lyra pressed the child close. She will be safe. You will see. They moved Nova to the deepest hidden module, one that had old ventilation tunnels leading to unused cargo areas. Ethan had prepared for this moment. He activated extra shields, rerouted power, and even created a false energy signature to trick the patrol. The aliens scanned for hours, but Nova remained undetected. Ethan realized that the child's presence, combined with human cleverness, was enough to fool even advanced technology. Humans survived by thinking, adapting, and protecting those they loved. After the patrol left, Lyra breathed a sigh of relief. "She is safe," she said. "For now." Ethan nodded. "We will keep her safe, always." They realized that the real danger was not just patrols, but the knowledge that Nova existed. If anyone knew about a half-human, half-alien child, the Council would act. They would send more ships, more inspectors, and possibly destroy her to prevent what they did not understand. Lyra looked at Ethan. "We must decide soon. We cannot hide forever." Ethan knew she was right. The Council would eventually demand answers. They would want to study Nova, or worse. Humans could protect her, but it would take careful planning, courage, and patience. He looked at Nova, sleeping peacefully in her mother's arms. Her small chest rose and fell with each breath. She was beautiful, innocent, and extraordinary. Ethan made a silent vow. No matter the danger, no matter the cost, he would protect her. And somewhere in the galaxy, unseen, someone had begun to notice. The Council had sensors that were far away, powerful, and relentless. The story of Nova, the hidden child, was beginning to spread in whispers. The choice of one human could change the fate of a child, and perhaps even the galaxy itself. Ethan and Lyra understood the truth. Their lives were now bound to Nova's. Protect her and they risk everything. Fail, and she would be lost. The stakes were clear, and the danger was real. Yet even in the darkness, they felt hope. Humans survived not because they were the strongest, but because they chose to protect life when it mattered most. Nova slept, unaware of the galaxy watching. She was human, alien, and more. She was the first of something new, and Ethan, a simple human engineer, had become her shield against a world that might not accept her. The story was far from over, but for now, Nova was safe. Life in the hidden module grew tense. Ethan, Lyra, and Nova had settled into a routine, but danger was never far. Alien patrols continued to scan the station, moving slowly, deliberately, as if they knew something was hidden but could not find it. Ethan spent his days repairing systems, checking sensors, and studying patrol patterns. He began to notice that the aliens underestimated humans. They believed humans were weak, slow, and predictable. They did not realize humans were clever, adaptable, and willing to protect life at any cost. One morning, Ethan checked the energy shields around the hidden module. Nova was awake, cooing softly. Her silver eyes followed Ethan's every movement. He smiled and waved at her. She reached out with her tiny hands, and for a moment the lights around them dimmed and brightened gently. Ethan had come to understand that Nova's presence was unusual, powerful even. She could influence systems without touching them directly. Lyra watched quietly from the cot. "She is learning," she whispered. "She can feel danger before it comes." Ethan nodded. "We must teach her to use it carefully. Aliens will not understand her. They will fear her abilities." Their routine was interrupted when an inspection team arrived. This time, the team was larger, more advanced, and equipped with sensors designed to detect unusual life forms. Ethan spotted them on the security monitors before they reached the main corridors. He froze. The patrol was close, and they could discover Nova at any moment. "We need to move," he said to Lyra. They carefully carried Nova through the old maintenance tunnels beneath the station. Ethan had mapped every passage, every ventilation duct, and every storage area that could hide them. The tunnels were dark and narrow, but humans had advantages here. Aliens rarely explored such places, thinking them dirty and inefficient. As they moved, Ethan noticed Nova reacting instinctively. Small panels flickered as they passed, lights dimmed, and sensors briefly malfunctioned. She was aware of the danger, even in the womb she had once inhabited. Now, outside, she was already protecting herself. Lyra whispered, "She is amazing. She can protect herself." Ethan did not answer. He focused on the path ahead. One misstep could reveal them. The patrol moved slowly, scanning the main corridors and docking areas. They paused near the module entrances, making Ethan's heart pound. He activated a small holographic decoy he had set up earlier. A false energy signature appeared in a storage room, drawing the patrol's attention. They scanned it briefly, then moved on. Ethan let out a silent sigh of relief. Humans survived by thinking, adapting, and using simple, clever tricks. After the patrol passed, Ethan and Lyra set up Nova in a safe storage area. The room was small, but secure. Supplies were limited, but enough to sustain them for weeks. Nova slept peacefully, unaware of the danger she had just escaped. Lyra looked at Ethan with a mixture of relief and worry. "How long can we keep doing this?" she asked. "The Council will not stop looking." Ethan shrugged. "As long as we need to. Humans survive by adapting. We hide, we move, we think. We protect our own." He spent hours modifying the module. He rerouted power systems, created false sensor readings, and built hidden compartments for supplies. Everything had to be perfect. One mistake could cost Nova her life. Over the following days, Ethan noticed subtle changes in Nova. She responded to sounds and movements before anyone approached. Lights flickered slightly when she sensed emotion. Machines seemed to calm near her. She was learning, growing, and becoming more aware. One afternoon, an alien technician approached Ethan. She was a tall, thin figure with pale blue skin and long fingers. She spoke in a formal tone. "I have noticed unusual readings in your module," she said. Ethan smiled politely. "I have been repairing systems. Sometimes old circuits cause strange readings." The technician frowned. She studied him for a long moment. Ethan felt the weight of her gaze. Aliens were precise, careful, and observant. One wrong word, one hesitation, and they would investigate further. After a moment, she nodded. "Very well. Continue your work." She left, and Ethan exhaled. That was close. If she had probed further, they might have discovered Nova. Lyra hugged Nova tightly. "We are not safe," she whispered. "We must always be careful." Ethan nodded. "We will be." Humans survive by protecting what matters. Nova matters. Weeks passed. Patrols continued, but Ethan and Lyra had developed a routine. They moved Nova only when necessary, used the tunnels and maintenance shafts, and relied on human cleverness to stay hidden. One night, Ethan and Lyra discussed the future. Nova was growing fast. Her abilities were stronger than they had imagined. She could influence machines subtly, sense danger, and react instinctively. If she grew too powerful or was discovered, the Council would act. "We need a plan," Ethan said. "We cannot hide forever." Lyra nodded. "I know. But what choice do we have? Exposing her could mean death or capture." Ethan thought about humanity. Humans were not the strongest, but they survived. They survived by protecting life, by thinking, by being clever. He realized that humans had a role to play here. Nova could survive, but only if humans made the right choices. He began teaching Nova simple skills. He would show her how to influence machines carefully, how to move silently, and how to sense danger. She responded instinctively, already understanding more than any ordinary child her age. As the weeks passed, Nova's abilities grew. She could manipulate energy flows, calm unstable machinery, and even influence simple sensors. Ethan realized that the child's presence alone could protect them if used carefully. But the danger was never far. Alien patrols were relentless. They adapted, modified sensors, and analyzed patterns. Ethan knew that eventually they would discover something. He needed a plan to keep Nova safe permanently. One morning, a new patrol arrived. It was larger, more advanced, and equipped with life-form scanners designed to detect unusual energy signatures. Ethan watched them carefully on his monitors. "They are serious this time," he whispered to Lyra. "We cannot rely on chance." Lyra held Nova close. "We must be smarter, faster, and careful. She is ready to learn." Ethan nodded. Together, they moved Nova through a series of hidden tunnels, using old maintenance shafts, air ducts, and storage areas. The child was calm, sensing the danger, and reacting instinctively. Lights flickered briefly as she passed, confusing the patrol's sensors. They reached a safe area deep within the station. Ethan activated additional shields and false energy signatures. The patrol searched for hours but could not find them. Humans had survived again, not by strength, but by cleverness and adaptation. Lyra looked at Ethan, holding Nova close. "They underestimate humans," she said softly. "They think we are weak, but we survive because we protect life." Ethan smiled. "And we always will. Nova will survive, because we will not let anything happen to her." He realized that this was more than just survival. Humans had a moral strength, a courage that aliens often overlooked. They protected life, even when it was inconvenient or dangerous. And Nova was proof that humans could protect something extraordinary. As they settled into the safe area, Ethan and Lyra knew that the council would not stop. Eventually, someone would notice Nova, someone would demand answers. But for now, they had survived another day. Nova slept peacefully, unaware of the galaxy watching. She was human, alien, and something entirely new. Ethan and Lyra had learned that survival required more than strength. It required thought, courage, and the willingness to protect what mattered most. Humans were underestimated, yes, but that was their advantage. They could hide, adapt, and act when necessary. They could protect life in ways aliens could not. And that was exactly what Ethan planned to do. The patrol ships left, unaware of the hidden child, unaware of the human cleverness that kept her safe. Ethan and Lyra exhaled, holding Nova tightly. The galaxy could underestimate them, but they would survive. And Nova would live to change everything. This was only the beginning. The hidden child, the underestimated humans, and the quiet courage of those who protect life were about to face even greater challenges. And Ethan understood the truth. Humans were not the strongest. But they were brave, clever, and willing to risk everything to protect life. And in the galaxy, that could be more powerful than any weapon. Life in the hidden module had become a careful balance. Ethan, Lyra, and Nova moved quietly through the old tunnels, avoiding patrols and using clever tricks to hide from scanners. Nova had grown quickly and was more aware every day. She could sense danger, calm machines, and react instinctively to threats. But the tension was growing. Patrols were getting closer, and Ethan knew the council would soon demand answers. It was only a matter of time before they discovered Nova. The child could not stay hidden forever. One morning, Ethan received a secure transmission from the Human Command Center. The message was short but clear. The council had sent inspectors to investigate unusual energy readings in the station. Humans were advised to cooperate carefully, but no direct orders were given. He showed the message to Lyra. Her face went pale. "They will find her," she whispered. "We cannot hide forever." Ethan took a deep breath. He had spent weeks protecting Nova, teaching her and moving her through the station. Now the real test had come. He had to decide, expose the child and risk council intervention, or continue hiding her and risk being caught. "We protect her," Ethan said firmly. "We will not let them take her. Humans survive by protecting life. Nova is our responsibility." Lyra nodded, though her hands trembled as she held Nova close. "But if they find out, they could destroy her." "We are risking everything." Ethan considered their options. He could try to escape the station with Nova, but patrols had increased, and the ship docks were monitored constantly. He could stay hidden, but that was only temporary. The Council's inspectors would eventually scan every corner. The only choice left was to confront the problem directly, to act with strategy and courage. He called a meeting with a few trusted humans on the station. They had helped in small ways, blocking cameras, rerouting supplies, and keeping watch. Ethan explained the situation carefully, without revealing Nova's identity, only hinting at the danger of the inspection team. The humans nodded. They had faith in Ethan, knowing that he always protected life. Together they formed a plan. The inspectors arrived quietly, scanning every corridor. Their sensors were advanced, designed to detect unusual life forms. Ethan and his team used decoys, rerouted energy readings, and misled the scanners. Every trick they had learned was put into practice. Nova, calm in her mother's arms, instinctively aided them. Lights flickered, sensors malfunctioned, and the inspectors grew frustrated. One inspector, taller than the others and with sharp silver eyes, paused in front of a hidden maintenance door. Ethan held his breath. If the inspector discovered the module, everything would be lost. He activated a small holographic decoy he had prepared. The door appeared empty. The inspector scanned again, frowned, and moved on. Ethan exhaled quietly. Nova, sensing the tension, cooed softly. Her presence seemed to calm even the inspector's scanners. After the inspectors left, Lyra held Nova tightly. "We survived again," she said, tears in her eyes. "But how long will it last?" Ethan shook his head. "We cannot hide forever. The Council will demand answers. We must be ready to make a choice." He explained his plan to Lyra. They would contact human leadership secretly, explaining the situation and requesting protection for Nova. If the Council acted without understanding, the child would be in danger. Humans could use their influence to protect her, showing that life was more important than rules. Lyra looked at Ethan, worried. "And if they refuse?" she asked. "If humans cannot protect her?" "Then we hide," Ethan said firmly. "But we will not wait for them to act. We will protect her ourselves if needed. Humans survive by choice. We choose to protect life." They prepared for the Council's involvement. Nova was moved to the safest part of the module, surrounded by energy shields, decoys, and hidden compartments. Ethan taught her to remain calm, to influence machines subtly, and to react instinctively to danger. She was growing quickly, learning to control her powers without understanding them fully. When the Council inspectors returned, they were met with calm efficiency. Ethan and the human team had prepared carefully. Sensors were rerouted, energy signatures masked, and decoys placed strategically. The inspectors scanned the station for hours, growing frustrated. Nothing unusual was found. Lyra watched nervously. Nova sat quietly in her arms, her silver eyes observing everything. She reached out, touching a console gently, and the readings stabilized. Ethan realized that Nova was already protecting herself. Her instincts were powerful, and she could influence the environment subtly. After the inspectors left, Ethan contacted the Human Command Center. He explained everything: the hidden child, the Council's interest, and the need for protection. The humans listened carefully and agreed to support them. A plan was put in place to grant Nova temporary asylum in human space, away from Council scrutiny. Lyra breathed a sigh of relief. "She will be safe," she whispered. "Finally." Ethan smiled. Humans survive by protecting life. We will make sure she lives. But the choice weighed heavily on him. Exposing Nova could prove humans' value to the galaxy, showing that they were capable of moral courage and protection. Hiding her kept her safe, but risked isolation, fear, and eventual discovery. The decision was not easy. He spent hours thinking, pacing through the tunnels while Nova slept. He considered the Council's laws, alien fears, and the potential consequences. Finally, he realized that humans' strength was not in weapons, politics, or technology. It was in their choices, their willingness to protect life even when it was dangerous. He made his decision. Nova would be protected openly but carefully. Humans would act as her guardians, using strategy, intelligence, and moral courage. The Council could not harm her without risking humanity's response. The child's life would be preserved through wisdom, not force. He explained the plan to Lyra. They would contact human leadership, reveal Nova's existence under controlled conditions, and request protection. They would show the Council that the child was not a threat, but a bridge between species. They would act with honesty, courage, and strategy. Lyra hesitated. "It is risky," she said, "but I trust you. We must do it." Ethan nodded. "We are humans. We survive by protecting life. That is our strength. Nova will live because we choose to protect her." They moved Nova to a secure transport module, shielded and hidden. Human allies prepared the route to take her safely to a protected area in human space. The plan was precise, careful, and dangerous. One mistake could expose them all. The day of the transfer arrived. Ethan, Lyra, and Nova moved through hidden tunnels, avoiding patrols and using every trick they had learned. Nova remained calm, sensing the tension and reacting instinctively. Lights flickered subtly as she passed, confusing sensors and hiding their presence. They reached the transport module. Human allies waited quietly, ensuring the path was clear. Ethan handed Nova to Lyra one last time. "She will be safe," he said. "We are doing the right thing." Lyra nodded, tears in her eyes. "Thank you for everything." Nova looked up at them, her silver eyes bright and curious. She did not understand danger, laws, or politics. She only understood warmth, safety, and protection. Ethan smiled and whispered, "We will always protect you." The transport module activated, moving Nova to the hidden human area. Ethan and Lyra followed, ensuring that no patrols discovered them. Every step was calculated, precise, and careful. The Council inspectors were still on the station, but they never suspected the child's presence. Finally, Nova arrived safely in human-controlled space. She was placed under protection, cared for by humans who understood her abilities and her importance. Lyra held her, relief washing over her face. Ethan watched, feeling the weight of responsibility lift slightly. They had made the choice. They had exposed Nova, but in a controlled way that ensured her safety. Humans had proven their strength not through power, but through courage, wisdom, and moral choice. They had protected life when it mattered most. Lyra looked at Ethan. "We did it," she said softly. "She is safe." Ethan smiled. "Humans survive by protecting life. We chose to protect her, and that is more powerful than any weapon." As they watched Nova sleeping peacefully, Ethan realized that their actions would have consequences. Some aliens would never accept her. The Council might still question humanity. But for now, Nova was alive, protected, and growing. And that was enough. Humans had made a choice, and in that choice, they showed the galaxy who they truly were. Not weak, not powerless, but clever, brave, and willing to protect life at any cost. Nova's story was only beginning. The choice to protect her had been made, and the galaxy would never be the same. Nova slept peacefully in the small room inside the human-controlled station. The walls glowed softly, designed for comfort and safety. Lyra sat beside her, brushing the child's silver hair gently, while Ethan checked the security systems outside. The room was shielded and monitored carefully. For the first time, they felt a sense of calm. Ethan looked at Lyra. "She is safe now," he said quietly. "The Council cannot reach her here. Humans will protect her." Lyra nodded, though worry still lingered in her eyes. "For now," she whispered. "But the galaxy will hear about her eventually. Some will not like it." Ethan smiled faintly. "Let them. Humans survive not because they are the strongest, but because they choose to protect life. We will teach her that. She will understand." Days turned into weeks. Nova grew quickly, her abilities becoming more noticeable. She could sense energy flows, influence machinery, and react instinctively to danger. Humans on the station observed her carefully, documenting her growth, but they treated her as a child first, not as a weapon or experiment. Ethan spent hours teaching Nova simple things: how to control her abilities carefully, how to stay calm under pressure, and how to understand the world around her. Lyra helped as well, teaching her about her alien heritage, their people's ways, and the importance of observation and patience. One afternoon, Ethan and Lyra took Nova to the observation deck. The stars stretched endlessly before them. Nova reached out her small hand, touching the glass, her silver eyes bright with curiosity. "Look at the stars," Ethan said. "One day you will understand them. You are part of two worlds, Nova, human and alien, and that makes you special." Lyra smiled. "We will protect you, no matter what happens." Word of Nova's existence began to spread quietly through the galaxy. Some aliens were curious, others suspicious. The Council received reports of a half-human, half-alien child living in human-controlled space. They debated what to do, but humans had acted first. Nova was protected under human authority, and the Council could not intervene without risking political conflict. This was the first sign that humans were more than aliens had believed. They were not just clever, they were morally strong. They could protect life when others would destroy it out of fear. The galaxy began to notice. Ethan and Lyra continued their careful work. Nova's abilities were growing. She could influence energy systems subtly, sense danger before it arrived, and react instinctively. Humans observed, taught, and guided her, ensuring she used her powers responsibly. One day, an alien delegation arrived. They were curious about Nova but approached with caution. Ethan met them in a controlled chamber. He spoke calmly and clearly. "Nova is not a threat. She is a child. She is part human and part alien. We are responsible for her safety, and we will protect her. You can study her, but she will not be harmed." The aliens studied him carefully. They expected fear, weakness, or bargaining. Instead, they found calm, intelligence, and moral courage. Ethan represented humanity perfectly. Humans survived not through force, but through thought, courage, and protection of life. After long discussions, the aliens accepted the arrangement. They would observe Nova, but they could not interfere with human protection. The Council, realizing that humans had acted responsibly and strategically, allowed them to maintain control. Humans had gained respect, quietly but firmly. Nova continued to grow. Her abilities became more refined. She could influence systems subtly, predict danger, and remain calm in stressful situations. Ethan and Lyra taught her the importance of using her powers for protection, not destruction. She learned quickly, guided by human morality and alien wisdom. The galaxy slowly began to change. News of Nova and humanity's choices spread. Some alien races began to question their own rules. If humans could protect life even when it was dangerous, perhaps other species could as well. Nova became a symbol, not a weapon, but proof that cooperation and moral courage were stronger than fear and control. Ethan observed her one evening. Nova sat quietly, her silver eyes watching the stars. "One day, you will understand your role," he said softly. "You are here to show the galaxy that life is valuable, no matter its origin. Humans protect life because it is the right thing to do." Lyra nodded. "We will teach her everything she needs to know. She will be ready for whatever comes next." The Council eventually acknowledged humanity's success. Humans were no longer seen as weak, fragile, or unimportant. They were clever, adaptable, and morally courageous. Nova's existence had changed the perception of their species. Humans had proven their value not through weapons, politics, or force, but through choice, protection, and wisdom. Ethan felt a deep sense of pride. He had begun as a simple engineer, responsible only for systems and circuits. Now he was a guardian of life, guiding a child who could change the galaxy. He had made the right choice, and it had brought humanity respect. Lyra held Nova close, feeling the warmth of human protection. "We did it," she whispered. "We kept her safe, and the galaxy is learning from us." Nova cooed softly, reaching out to touch Ethan's hand. She did not understand the full danger, the politics, or the rules of the Council. She only understood warmth, safety, and protection, and that was enough. Weeks later, Ethan took Nova and Lyra to a quiet park in the human-controlled area. Trees, grass, and sunlight created a peaceful environment, something rare in space stations. Nova laughed, her small hands reaching for the leaves. She was learning about life, joy, and the simple pleasures of existence. Ethan and Lyra watched, knowing that the galaxy outside remained unpredictable, but that their choice had mattered. Humans had acted wisely and bravely. They had protected life when it was inconvenient and dangerous. They had shown that morality, courage, and intelligence were more powerful than fear or force. The story of Nova, the hidden child, became a quiet legend. Some aliens told stories of the human who protected a child when no one else would. Humans did not boast, they simply acted. And that was what made them extraordinary. Ethan knew that Nova's future would be challenging. The galaxy would continue to watch, study, and sometimes question her. But he also knew that humans had created a safe environment, guided by moral strength, intelligence, and courage. Nova would grow, learn, and become a bridge between species. She would show that life, cooperation, and protection were the true measures of power. Lyra smiled as she watched Nova sleep under the warm sunlight of the park. "She is our hope," she whispered, "and the humans have shown us how to protect it." Ethan took her hand. "And we will continue to protect it. Humans survive because we choose to protect life. That is who we are." Nova is proof of that. The galaxy slowly began to respect humans, not for strength or dominance, but for the choices they made. Humans had shown that survival was not just about power, but about courage, intelligence, and moral responsibility. They had protected life when it mattered most, and in doing so, they had changed the galaxy forever. Nova slept peacefully, unaware of the galaxy's attention. She was half human, half alien, and entirely extraordinary. She was a child of two worlds, a symbol of cooperation, protection, and hope. And humans had chosen to protect her, showing the universe the quiet strength of humanity. Ethan, Lyra, and Nova stood together, looking at the stars stretching endlessly above them. The galaxy was vast, full of danger, opportunity, and change. But humans had proven something simple and profound. They survived because they chose to protect life, and they had chosen wisely. The story of Nova's hidden life, the courage of humans, and the quiet victory of morality over fear came to an end. For now. The galaxy had learned that humans, underestimated and overlooked, were capable of greatness in ways that no one had expected. And Nova, the child of two worlds, would grow to show the universe what cooperation, protection, and love could truly achieve. Humans had made a choice. They had protected life. And in that choice, they had won.